Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about the exodus of miners from China and the biggest drop in the hash rate in the history of the Bitcoin network. Now first let's explain that miners are actually participants of a network that supports the cryptocurrencies, and those miners make sure that all the transactions that happen within this particular network are done in a safe, secure way, and that they are done properly, meaning that there is no double spending or errors. Now, when miners contribute to the network and make sure that all the transactions are done in order, they get rewarded with that native cryptocurrencies, and that's how they actually generate revenues for their businesses. That's their motivation to be a miner. Now, historically, some of the biggest mining operations globally are in fact and were in fact located in China. And the reason for that was the ease of getting technology for mining, but also having access to cheap electricity in China to support these large-scale mining operations. What happened just recently in the last couple of weeks, there was actually a crackdown or pressure from the governments towards these mining operations, and due to those pressures, the mining operations and the miners had to move out of China and relocate somewhere else. Now what happened was that as these miners were shutting down their operations, the so-called hash rate experienced the largest drop in history. If we have to explain the hash rate in very simple terms, you could just think about it as how hard or difficult it is to mine cryptocurrencies, meaning the higher the hash rate, the more effort and resources miners need to put in to actually mine cryptocurrencies. Now, there was a lot of actually statements around this historic drop in the hash rate and what impact it might have on the price of Bitcoin. And a lot of people stated that the drop in the hash rate would in fact mean a drop in the price of Bitcoin. But that's actually a bit misleading. We have to remember actually that as miners shut down their operation, the hash rate dropped. But that meant that for all the other remaining Bitcoin miners, it became easier for them to mine cryptocurrencies, for them to mine Bitcoin, meaning that the remaining miners who still kept on running their operations around the globe, in fact, benefited from this drop in hash rate that came from the exodus of miners from China. Now, what will happen in the near future with the hash rate and mining around the world is that the mining operations that were previously located in China, they will actually relocate around the globe to locations where they can actually have ease of access to technology and infrastructure and access to cheap electricity such that they can continue mining profitably going forward. So in short, this was a historic event for our industry and for the miners, where we experienced certain short-term effects that were actually very beneficial for the remaining or reminders of the miners that continued operating. But in the long term, the mining industry will continue growing and continue flourishing. So that's it for today. Thank you everyone, and stay liquid.